Okay guys, it's day 3 of the trip. We are on the Wild Atlantic Way, about to fly over the ocean to the Aran Islands.
It's early morning, it's a little bit overcast, but the Aran Islands are supposedly gorgeous and we have a lot of really cool stuff that's gonna happen later today, so
We'll see you there and we'll tell you more when we get there.
Let's hop on this plane, we're late. Oh, sweet, I'm driving this guy. You guys ready?
Yeah, right, we're getting out.
How was that?
That was amazing, just flying over the cliffs of Moher. So stunning from the ground, but from the air, even better.
This island's actually called Inishmore.
It's the largest of the 3.
Moher means big, like the cliffs of Moher, so big cliffs, makes sense. They were pretty large.
It's an island off an island,
yeah.
And so it's going to be a really interesting microcosm of Irish culture. So we're going to join up with Cyril and his son Fionn. We're going to start off on a cart with a donkey pulling us, like the old school way of traveling.
Horse and carriage, let's say.
I think it's a donkey though.
Might be a donkey, whatever.
We're going to go check out some beautiful places on the coast. Look at our new whip. How many people here speak Irish? Majority fluent in Irish?
Yeah, majority would be.
So what was it like growing up here?
We were pretty wild as children. Most of the time you can do whatever you want, really.
Well, we're driving a horse down the road right now. Yeah. That's some freedom right there.
I figured this is like the perfect place to take a morning jog, and we're cruising at a pretty nice slow speed, so I'm just gonna pop off the back and jog for like a kilometer.
Get after it, Rocky.
Well, that was a first, super fun, horse and buggy, and I even snuck in a little run.
So now we're in the main port of the island. We're meeting up with Cyril and he's going to show us around. So where are we going today?
Okay, we're going up to the highest point of the island at the moment, okay? We're going to go out to Powell na Beach after that, okay? That's the wormhole where they do the Red Bull cliff diving.
Some old forts, an early church.
Early Christian churches. We're gonna try and do it all.
So we just got to the top of Inishmore, the highest point in the island, and it's pretty incredible. There are monuments from so many different periods of time. Like this lighthouse is from the late 1800s. This was built in the late 1700s.
That's from the Napoleonic Wars. And then we have this.
That guy over there.
From the Bronze Age. It's from 800 BC. And so this is kind of one of those things where these round forts, there's like 450 of them in the surrounding counties and here, and that's because this was connected to the mainland at one point, and these were like the northern borders of the southern tribes of Ireland. So this was like a border between warring tribes, and it just goes to show like how many layers of civilization are under our feet right here.
Whoa, this is crazy. This could be from, you know, the ocean floor a couple 100,000 years ago. But we're not done yet. We're gonna head over to a place called The Worm. It's well known. It's a big cliff jump because Red Bull actually had one of the cliff jumping world championships here. So we're gonna go put our boardies on and hop in the ocean.
This village is awesome. All these houses here, some of them are abandoned, but you can really get a sense of what this village would have been like when there was more people living here. It's like these big slabs of rock here, just going down towards the ocean. Makes you wonder how they were even able to grow crops.
The first thing you needed to do, of course, when you were going to make a piece of land was you just take the top layer off. Okay, so you quarried all the top layer off. Then you need to fill all these holes up. So all the debris that was left over, you fill the holes with, okay? And then you get a wattle or a heavy clay and you place that on top of that. And then you layer, you make a compost of sand and seaweed and layering sand, seaweed. You turn it from that into that.
Well, this place is weird and awesome. I don't think I've ever been in a landscape quite like this. It's all limestone that's been shaped and formed by the ocean, 20-meter waves smashing in here and lodging fat boulders like these two in underneath this cliff. So you can imagine the force.
We've traveled by plane, by horse and cart, by car, and now we've been jumping over rocks on foot, and we've arrived here. The last bit we traveled by jumping through air.
It's a serious cliff jump, not even gonna lie.
The Red Bull guys go from way up here, but the tide's actually pretty low right now, so we're gonna go from one of the lower areas. But it's incredible how it's just almost perfectly square.
Yeah, it's like a swimming pool. But it's a swimming pool that is chock-a-block full of jellyfish right now. There's so many jellyfish in there.
Can you feel it now? I can feel it. I can feel it now.
One last disclaimer, if you are gonna jump, you do it at your own risk and make sure the water is calm. The conditions right now are perfect. If it's stormy weather, don't do it. Vagabond Brothers wish you the best.
That was nice and exhilarating. It's time to head out of here and then keep exploring the island. Century monastery, and the monks who came here were Coptic Christians from Egypt.
How did Christianity come to these islands in Ireland?
Well, it probably traveled up from the Mediterranean along Spain, Portugal into France. You were isolating yourself almost like a Buddhist monastery or a Buddhist retreat. You stayed for a duration of 7 years, and after 7 years you went out into the broader world and you spread Christianity. And during the fall of the Roman Empire, the Irish, because we weren't influenced by Rome, our Christian values didn't change. So we kept writing, we kept education, and we actually respread that back into Europe. And the whole idea was to bring Christianity to Europe.
Seriously though, is that not mind-boggling? For me, the fact that monks from the Middle East traveled all the way here to pretty much the furthest possible corner of Europe over 1,000 years ago, that must have been quite the journey.
It's interesting that one of the first tourists here were pilgrims who would spend a day and a half walking around the island barefoot and just kind of finding themselves as they find the island. And so we're realizing that we got a few more hours left, but we might, instead of trying to see everything, we might just try to soak it up for the last bit of time. So I think maybe some lunch.
And maybe a pint.
And maybe a pint.
Let's go.
Thank you so much for showing us around today.
You're welcome, guys. It's been a cool day.
Cheers, boys.
Right guys, well, unfortunately our time here on the Aran Islands is over. We're about to hop a flight back to Connemara.
So we're gonna go on the mainland and visit a guy who's bringing back traditional Irish basket making, basket weaving in the beautiful village of Spittle.
Let's do it.
I'm Kieran Hogan, and I'm a basket maker, a willow basket maker. It would have been very much a rural craft, so you would have had a lot of basket makers in a village. Now I'd say there's about 20 full-time basket makers in Ireland, and back maybe in the 60s, 50s, 60s, there would have been maybe 2 or 3 per village. People are probably appreciating it a lot more currently. It's probably also to do with the whole thing, the way globalization is going and everything made in China and the way you lose your jobs and stuff like that in your own country, that people kind of looking a little bit more that making it yourself, there's a bit more value to it.
We're going to Galway right now, gonna have dinner at Kai restaurant.
Kai actually means food in Māori.
Māori.
So maybe it has something to do with the fact that it's a restaurant.
We've been in like airplanes, cliff jumping, a horse-drawn carriage, and now we have a feast like this. I really don't think today could get very much better.
I'm digging the Wild Atlantic Way, and I'm gonna have some wild Atlantic monkfish.
Well, we just had a dank dinner.
So good.
But we're not done yet. What are we doing now?
So we're going right here to the Crane, which is a live music venue. Galway is known for their live music, especially traditional music. So we're going in.
Hey look, traditional Irish music pub of the year.
Whack for the daddy-o, whack for the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. Well, that was awesome. Great live music session. We're gonna leave you with a song right after this. But if you like the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Bagger Brothers for more travel videos every week.
Also, stay tuned because this adventure in Ireland is nowhere near finished.
No, not at all.
We got a bunch of cool stuff coming your way. In the meantime, stay curious, keep exploring, and we'll see all of you vagabuddies on the road. Peace.
Well, so it went as it was in the beginning. Eileen had set her heart on winning. Now the bugger's sitting there grinning, being courted by the bride of Bletchley. Says he, I know